Ever wonder how artists go from unknown to unforgettable? The University of Arts and Design just launched How Artists Become Known. It's a free seminar series, and we're starting with Van Gogh. Watch now at uad.education. Welcome to the Make and Design podcast. I'm Carina Gardner, and today I have Abby Glassenberg on my podcast. You guys are going to love this interview. This was done for our Design 610 class, and because of that, you're only getting about 20 minutes of the hour-long interview, in-depth interview I had with Abby, but I think you'll really enjoy the piece that you guys get to hear. Of course, if you ever take the class at the university, you'll be able to hear the whole thing, which is pretty incredible. She is the owner of the Craft Industry Alliance, and I think you will love learning about her association. Hello, students. I think you are going to love this interview I'm doing today. I'm with Abby Glassenberg. I joined her membership just a few months ago because one of you guys, this always happens, you guys, the students are like, Carina, are you part of the Craft Alliance? I'm like, no, I'm not. And I clearly need to be. So I'm so excited to have Abby here because we're going to talk about her business, what she's done. She owns a membership. And so we haven't done a lot in talking about that type of business. Welcome, Abby.
Thank you so much for having me. And it was great to see you at H&H Americas and to connect there. And I'm really glad to be here today.
Okay, so let's dig in and talk about what the Craft Industry Alliance actually is. Okay, like why do this?
Sure. So we are the trade association for the crafts industry, and we provide three main things. One of them is news coverage. So we're the B2B news outlet for the industry. We have a big pool of freelance writers who work for us and cover craft industry news, whether that's acquisitions, new hires, mergers, trends, what is going on, so that people who own businesses within the crafts industry can make intelligent, informed decisions for their business based on what's happening out there in the world. So that's one piece. The second piece is ongoing professional development. So I'm a former teacher and I love education. And, a lot of us wear many hats. We have to do all the different things in our business. And we might have some training in one or two of those areas, but probably not in all of them. And so there's so much more to learn, and things are also always changing. So we provide professional development through webinars and mastermind groups and other ways for people to learn from one another as well, so that you can stay on top of your skill set. And if you need to learn bookkeeping, or we need to learn about intellectual property or about insurance or about color trends, whatever it might be, we can teach you that information. And then the third piece is networking. So ways for people to meet one another, to talk to each other, be in community together. And we do serve all areas of the crafts industry. So that's makers, suppliers, designers, wholesalers, brick and mortar shop owners, and it's also all crafts. So it's knitting and crochet, quilting, sewing, cross stitch, embroidery, polymer clay, paper, woodworking, all the things. And we really feel like being in community together, we all really are serving the single purpose, which is to help people to express themselves creatively in their free time. And if that's, making a beaded bracelet or, making something out of fabric or learning to crochet, it pretty much is all in that singular purpose. So we have a lot more to learn from each other than not. And so whether, you're a big box retailer like Michael's, you own an independent quilt shop in your town, you're a designer of crochet patterns, you have a cross stitch business, whatever it might be, learning from each other and being community together is really important. And we're also the strategic partner with the trade show. So we are a trade association that doesn't own our own trade show. Instead, we partner with H&H Americas and have from the inception, helping to plan all of the education that happens at that trade show. So that's a way for our members to gather in person in a B2B environment. And that's been really fun as well.
Have you only ever done H&H, or did you do Quilt Market or any other trade shows?
I attended Quilt Market when Quilt Market was still around. So we launched Craft Industry Alliance in October 2015, and we were at Quilt Market in that year. And then I've been to Quilt Market several more times. We didn't have a booth, but we did walk the show during those years. But H&H has been our only partnership as far as a trade show is concerned.
Got it. What connected you to H&H?
So H&H is owned by Cologne Messe, which is based in Cologne, Germany. They're a German company. They've been around for over 100 years, and they have trade shows, over 60, 70 trade shows all over the world in all different sectors, whether that's, home and garden, food, gaming, tires, you name the sector, they've got a trade show. And they're all over the world, like I said. So there are many different continents, Europe, Asia, South America, etc. And they had no shows in the United States. So they, for many, many years, have run H&H Cologne, which is a craft trade show in Cologne, Germany, at their convention center there. And they were interested in expanding H&H Cologne into the U.S. market, seeing that many of the trade shows in the U.S. market for craft had kind of dwindled over the years, and that there was an opportunity to create something new. They're very collaborative, which I think is amazing. And so in Germany, they collaborate with their trade association, and they wanted to do the same in the US. So in 2021, I got an email saying, hey, would you like to collaborate with us to help bring H&H to the United States? And that was a great fit for us. We've had other suggestions over the years of ways to create an in-person event, because obviously people love to gather in person. And especially after COVID, when we weren't able to, we all really want to again. But none of them really felt like a great fit because we are B2B. So we really need to have a place where our businesses can meet one another and do business together. And a trade show is the perfect one, except, I did not, when we founded Craft Industry Alliance, the concept was really to be everything great that you get at the trade show, but online all year long and accessible to everybody. So we did not want to own a trade show. That is not in my wheelhouse, to figure out how to rent the space and get all of the insurance, take all the financial risks. That's a huge, huge job that it just was not something that our small remote team could take on. So partnering with a really established, skilled trade show company was the perfect fit for us. So we get to do what we're best at. We market the show to our members, both as exhibitors and attendees. And then we plan the main stage panel discussions, all the business classes, the day-long conference that takes place before the show opens, which is called H&H University, and then all the keynote speakers. So it's a great fit for us. We have a great conference committee that we work with who is awesome and helps us to figure out what should be at the show.
That's incredible. I would love to take a step back to 2015. I want to know, was there anything brewing or happening before this that made it so that you created this? Because it is kind of an undertaking to build some kind of association or membership like this.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of things. What we realized. Basically, I co-founded Craft Industry Alliance with a co-founder, Kristen Link from Sew Mama Sew. She had a very popular sewing blog way back when, people may remember. And so she had a blog and I had a blog. My blog was called While She Naps, still out there, but not very updated. And we knew each other through that kind of world. And I had created a newsletter for my blog as part of what I was doing with my blog. And it had really evolved into a business focused newsletter for craft business. And I had about 7,000 subscribers, and I was sending out craft business news every week. And the subscribers were the presidents and CEOs of many of the different craft companies. So I started really enjoying that and was looking at that time into creating a paid newsletter. This was before Substack, before paid newsletters were really easy to do. So I had just begun exploring that because I thought this would be something that I could make as a product, a paid newsletter for the industry. And at that time, Kristen had been a guest on my podcast and we knew each other. And so she reached out and said, hey, maybe we should plan a craft business conference together. And at that time, I had 3 little kids, and I was like, I cannot plan a craft business. I can't even go to a craft business conference, much less plan one. So we got on the phone and started talking, and I told her about my newsletter, and we kind of came up with this third idea, which would be a trade association, because The associations that were in existence at that time were TNNA for the yarn industry. And then there was AFCI, or the Craft and Hobby Association, for like mixed media, paper, that sort of sector. And then there was Quilt Market, which is not a trade association, but is a trade show. But they're all sort of similar in one way, which is that when you joined, what you really got was a ticket to the show. So that's really what this association did. It didn't really do much else. And so we were like, well, we won't have a show, but instead we'll do all this great stuff and make it like a modern trade association where you can just come online and get all the things, and not have a show. And so that was kind of the concept that we came up with. And, trade show attendance overall had been declining. TNNA eventually stopped hosting trade shows in 2020. Quilt Market just this past year stopped hosting trade shows. And AFCI ended up merging into the National Art Materials Trade Association and sort of no longer exists as well. And that's much more fine art focused. So basically, we were just on the cusp of sort of the collapse of a lot of those organizations, unfortunately, and we're sort of primed to start something new in collaboration with H&H.
Yeah, that's really incredible. I mean, do you think your timing was lucky, or do you feel like you guys were prepared for that moment?
I mean, part of it was luck. Nobody could have predicted the pandemic. My goodness, that was out of control. So, I mean, there was no way to know what that future was going to hold. At the same time, you could see from like the educational offerings at some of the shows, and some of the sort of um, people feeling a little bit distanced from the show leadership in some of the shows, or feeling frustrated by the rate of change, or the industry really changed because, as most industries did, because of the internet and the way that commerce is taking place, discovery is taking place. So much was changing, and for different reasons, many of the existing associations were slower to adapt. And so in that way, we did see that there was a new need for something different. And that was the goal. But so it was partially good luck with the timing, and partially sort of just reading the writing on the wall, and being tuned into the way that business was being done now, and looking at what was being offered and seeing a void.
For anyone who's a business owner who's listening in, could you tell us, like, maybe like, I don't want to say like the hardest thing, but like things that you don't love doing in your business, but you feel like it's necessary to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things. I am not good at math. Ask any of my kids, they will tell you. So I didn't take calculus in high school. I'm not that good at math. I don't enjoy doing math. And so I'm not great at accounting, and bookkeeping, but I hire that out to people who are. So we use Pilot as our bookkeeper, and they run our books, and I review the books every single month, but I don't have to do them myself. And that's hugely helpful to me. So that's one piece that, I'm just not excited about, but needs to be done. I'm not a developer, so I can't write CSS. Like I have basic to zero HTML, knowledge. So I can't fix certain things. Sometimes the site will break, and I can't fix it. But we use WP Engine, which is an excellent host who we pay $1 bazillion a year to. And so we have a private phone number that I can call, and their, team answers the phone and helps me immediately. So again, that's like really great. And sometimes they're saying things that I don't understand. And when that happens, we bring our developer onto the call so she can help me with that sort of thing. So, I'm just not great. I'm not great at taxes. I am married to somebody who, for fun, enjoys insurance and retirement plans and taxes. So I don't understand people like that, but I am married to somebody like that. So he is very happy to help me with those sorts of things. So basically what I would say is I actually don't really love Instagram. I know that sounds crazy, but everybody loves Instagram. I find Instagram to be something I do for work. But other than that, I would prefer not to be on Instagram. And so we have Amberly who posts on our Instagram for us, and you will rarely see me there except for when I do our member spotlights, which I enjoy doing because I get to talk to our members on Wednesdays. But other than that, I'm not there. And in most ways, I try not to be the face of the company. I try the company to be something that exists whether I'm here or not. That is my goal in the long term. So I don't want it to be about me in any way. And I actually don't like being on video. I'm not a performer. I don't like being on stage, and I'm not a public speaker. So those are things, I do at H&H Americas that, I'm happy to do, but are things that are difficult for me to do, and are challenging for sure.
I love that. And I think that was good for everyone to hear. So, really, really good. Last but not least, are there things you would tell someone who's a new business owner in any field, like that would, like a piece of advice that you wish maybe someone had given you?
I mean, I think the key is to be consistent. That's the piece. I think people generally give up too soon. And I get it because, just thinking about podcasts, for example, most people who start a podcast are super excited. They get started, they record 6 episodes, and then they realize it's a lot of work and it's kind of a grind, and they sort of stop doing it. And they really just gave up too soon. After 60 episodes, they would have a lot of traction. So it's tough. It is tough to give up. I am the kind of person who, once I agree to myself that I'm going to do something, I can't let go. I just hold on super tight, and I will continue to do it forever. And so I have to be careful about what I take on because I can't not do it once I agree to do it. So that's one piece. And I tend to generally be risk averse to a fault. So I think that's another. It's hard. I'm conservative when it comes, small c conservative, when it comes to money, risk. And, I don't tend to like to make big picture jumps, take on giant projects. I'm not a visionary thinker in that way. I'm much more of like, here's my 17 item to do list, and I will do all 17 items right now. And that's it. So I would just say, like, hang in there and persevere. I just see people feel like, wow, this is really cool. I want to do this. I start doing it. I hit a bump in the road, maybe get over that bump, hit another bump, and just give up. And just hang on. You got to keep doing it like it's your job, even if it's not your job yet, because it will eventually become your job if you don't let go. So
That's great advice. For people who are excited and want to learn more about the Craft Industry Alliance, or they want to become a member, where can they go?
absolutely. We would love to have you. So, like I said, join our newsletter to get started. It's free, and you can kind of get a feel for what we do and see if you feel like it's right for you. And you can find that at craftindustryalliance.org. Right on our homepage is a place for you to enter your email address, and you'll get that newsletter on Wednesdays. So unsubscribe anytime, no hard feelings for sure. If you do like it, or right away, I just want to join, which is awesome. You'll see on our homepage, craftindustryalliance.org, there is a button that says join. There's 2 different types of memberships. One is for individuals. So if you are an individual maker, it's just you doing whatever it is that you do. We have a membership for you that's either 6 months or a year. And you can decide 6 months and try it out. If it's not for you, that's fine. Or 1 year membership, you save a little money if you do the 1 year. And then if you're a bigger business, so you have an employee, a few employees, it's honor system. But if you it's tiered by revenue, by your annual gross revenue. So you can select if you're a small business, a medium-sized business, an enterprise, that sort of thing, and select which one is right for you. And there are more perks with the larger business memberships, including a special newsletter that we send out once a month that's much more focused on big business. You get more logins for your team. You get discounts on our ads. And you also get discounts on your booth space at H&H Americas. So it does end up, if you're a very large business, paying for itself when it comes to the amount of discounts you get just on the booth space. So anyway, take a look at those different membership tiers and see what might be right for you.
I love it. That's so awesome. And they can go to craftindustryalliance.org for that.
.org, you'll find it all there.
Awesome. Thank you, Abby, so much for being on here. I appreciate it so much. So many good words of advice. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. And we will see you guys later. Bye, guys. Want to hang out more? Go to designsuitecourses.com/free to get our weekly freebies and patterns, die cut files, and more. Can't wait to see you there. I have a gift for you. My third book, The Intentional Design Year, is out, and I want to give you access to read it. To get the digital copy for 1 month for free, go to www.designsuitecourses.com/intentional. Make sure and do the www. Because for some reason, that's the only way it will work. Anyway, this will get you free access to read the book for an entire month. If you love it, you can always go to Amazon and get the whole book plus the prompt journal.